Alright guys, so hope everybody's doing great with the kind of self-quarantine thing that's going on and you guys are not going too stir crazy. Mr. McLeod and I decided that we would try to do a couple of videos on our brand new YouTube channel to try to get you just refreshed and keep everything that we went over in classes kind of in there so that when we come back we're not starting over from the beginning. Um, Topic today is going to be half steps and whole steps and creating a major scale. Future topics are going to be wildly ranged from, orders of sharps and flats to definitions of terms to maybe even cleaning instruments. Who knows? All right, but we're going to start here. So again, just kind of getting you refreshed so that when we come back from this break, you're good to go. So as you can see, I've got my lovely Picasso-style piano. This is why I was a music teacher, not an art teacher. But it's going to do a great job of helping us out with whole steps and half steps. So first of all, let's talk about what the heck is a whole step and what's a half step. It's really easy. A half step is the easiest one to explain because if you know a half, you can make a whole. A half step takes us from one key on the piano to the very next key. You can either go from this key to this key, from this key to this key, or even from here to here. Again, doesn't matter if the key's black or white. Michael Jackson taught me that. Pause for dramatic effect. But a half step is just from one key to the very next key. So, a whole step then, don't overthink this, guys. A whole step, two keys. Good job. So a whole step is going to be from here, 1, 2. Two keys. If we start on a black key, 1, 2, two keys. Start on this black key, 1, 2, two keys. Okay? To put that to your instrument, a half step, we've all been going over our chromatic scales in all of our classes. A half step is from one note to the very next note on that chromatic scale. A whole step then, two notes. Okay? So half step on your instrument, one chromatic scale up. Whole step, two chromatic pitches up. Okay, or down. So on a piano, for instance, we look here, and I know many of you don't play piano, but this is the basic setup for both piano, could be for marimba, or any of our mallet instruments in the back too. To find the notes on a piano, you're going to look for the grouping of black keys, or in this case, dark purple. So black keys, they're always grouped in groups of 2 and groups of 3. You're always going to try to find the group of 2. And to the left of that group of 2 is C. Always, always, always. And from there, you can put the rest of the notes in. If you just say your musical alphabet starting on C. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and we start over again with C. And if my piano could keep going across my room, I would have another black key right here, which would follow up with another black key in our grouping of 2 black keys. So here's our piano keyboard. Pretty simple to find, pretty easy to follow. Just remember, always look for the grouping of 2 black keys. Now we need to talk about flats and sharps. Flat looks like that. Our sharp looks like a hashtag. Okay, flat. Flat takes any pitch that we put in front of down a half step or one key on the piano. So for instance, if I had B and I said B flat, that would go here. This black key would be B flat. If I said A flat, A down a half step flat. It works on keys that don't have black keys as well in between them. So for instance, if I said F and then I said F flat is also E. Sharp works in the same way. So flat goes down, sharps go up. F sharp, find F, one half step up, that's F sharp. G sharp, G, one half step up, that's G sharp. B sharp, B, one half step up, that's C sharp. Still works even though there's no black key in between. Again, a half step is from one key to the very next one, doesn't matter if it's black or white. A sharp is going to take it up on your instrument, one chromatic pitch in that chromatic scale. A flat's going to take it down one chromatic note in that chromatic scale. That's why those chromatic scales are so important, guys, so that we can really get this down, so that we're not fumbling and thinking through when we're playing our music. B sharp, oh geez, what is that? Well, now it's really easy if we know the chromatic scale. B half step up the next note at C. Simple. While we're at that, all these notes that we call B sharp and goes into C, we call these enharmonic. Enharmonic notes are notes that sound the exact same, but they're spelled differently. In other words, they look different. In other words, B sharp is going to sound like C, but it's not C. It's B sharp. C flat is going to sound like B. It's not B, it's C flat. Those are still the same sounding pitch, and the only way you'd really know what the difference was is just by seeing it. But by sound, you're going to hear a B for C flat. You're going to hear a C for B sharp. We just call them enharmonic, and that's how those kind of things kind of work. Okay? So now, let's get into how do I create a major scale using my knowledge of whole steps and half steps. First, I'm going to erase this so I can have a little bit of room. And we're going to talk about what's the formula for major scales. Hopefully most of you guys can remember this, but our formula is really easy. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. 2 whole steps and a half step, followed by 3 whole steps and a half step. Works every single time. This is your major scale formula. So now knowing what whole steps and half steps are, I can create any scale I want to simply by using this formula. Don't have to know key signatures. I'll figure that out once I get through. Let me show you how. Let's just start with the easy one, C. I know you know what the C scale is, but let's construct it through this. So first I start here, and I want to start on C. We know the C scale also ends on C. I know secondly thing that I know is that it's going to have all the letter names in between. I can't skip a letter name, so I'm going to have to put all the letter names. So I'm going to have some sort of D, E, F, G, A, and a B. Tried to put them in here between where our formula is so we can see how that works. So from C, I'm going to go a whole step. C, half step, whole step. I land on D. That note's correct. So those first two notes are right. D, another whole step. Boom, boom, whole step. We're on E. Fantastic. I go a half step. Remember, that's one key. Half step puts me on F. That's where I landed. We're good. F, whole step. 1, 2. All right, so far so good. G, another whole step. 1, 2. A, another whole step. Good. And B is a half step. There's my major scale. So what's my key signature for C? No flats, no sharps. Now most of you already knew that, but if you didn't, here's an easy way to figure all of that out. So let's take one that you might not know that might be a little bit different. So I'm going to erase here my grand at-home technology. Okay? And let's start on E flat. So I'm going to go E flat. I know it starts on E flat. Why do I know it starts on E flat? Because it says so. It's named E flat. It's going to start on E flat. It's going to end on E flat. Remember, the second step is I know I'm going to have every single one of my note names all the way up from E flat to E flat. So I'm going to have an F, a G, an A, a B, a C, and a D. They're all going to be in there somewhere. They may not be natural. They may be flat or sharp, but we're going to figure that out as we go. Right now, I just put them on there that I know that's what's there. Now I follow my formula. E flat. Here's E. Go down a half step. E flat. I got to go a whole step to find the next note. Boom, boom. F. So far, so good. Whole step from F. Boom, boom. Landed on G. That's what I've got. So far, so good. Half step from G. Oh, now not on A. What am I on? Some of you may want to say G sharp. Technically, I guess you could count that as maybe being correct, but remember, I have to have every letter name that I know, all of the musical alphabet letter names. So it can't be G sharp. I took this and I went down, so it's A flat. Okay, so I fixed it. Now, A flat, I got a whole step. 1, 2. Same thing. Didn't land on B, got to change that B. It's not B, it's got to be something else. Can't be A sharp because I've already used A. So it's got to be B. Where did I go, up or down to get there? Well, I went backwards or I went down. So it's B flat. Okay? Next, I go a whole step. Boom, boom, C. That's where I was. Okay? For this, I'm going to have to go back over to the other side because I ran out of piano. It's the same notes. C, I need a whole step. Boom, boom. Whole step got me to D. It's great. D, I need a half step. I know it ends on E flat because I know scales start and end on the same note, but let's check just to make sure. Half step up from D, half step up from D, E flat. So now I know that that E flat major scale has a B flat, an E flat, and an A flat in it. Okay, all three of those. So even if you think you know how this works, you can still follow this formula and you'll be able to get this scale. It'll work every single time. And if you get to the end and you land on something that's not the last starting note, okay, then you know you screwed up somewhere and you got to go back. Okay, so let's try one more just to make sure we got it. And this time I'm going to not be easy on you. I'm going to give you a tricky one. Okay, this one's probably one that you may not have played. Especially, I know those in my symphonic band have not played it. Let's do C sharp major. Ooh. Starts and ends on C sharp. We know that. Got to use every single letter in between. So I know it's got a D, an E, an F, a G, an A, and a B. Okay? Follow my same formula. See what happens. C sharp is here. C, up a half step, C sharp. Got to get to D. Got to use a whole step. Boom, boom. D went to the right or up, so I sharped it. There's a whole step. D sharp. D sharp is a whole step. 1, 2. All right, now I'm on F. But I got to use an E in there somehow. Remember, back to what we started at the beginning of the video. E, if I go up, if I raise it by a half step or I make it sharp, it still is going to be F. That's one of those inharmonic pitches. So now I'm on E sharp. Okay, E sharp is here. We're going a half step up. Lands there. That's going to be F sharp. I've got to go a whole step from F sharp. G sharp. Whole step from G sharp. A sharp. Whole step from A sharp. Oh, another one of our enharmonic notes. Remember, B, go to the right, raise it half step. That's going to make it B sharp. Okay, so I'm on B sharp. We're going to go back down because I ran out of room. B sharp, half step up, C sharp. That's where I ended. Every single note in that scale is sharp. Okay? So hopefully that works for you and you can understand how that works. Again, the biggest thing to remember, half steps are from one note to the very next note. If it's on a keyboard, it's from one key to the very next key. Doesn't matter which color it is, black, white, purple. Okay? One note to the very next note. On your instruments, it's from one pitch to the very next pitch chromatically. That can be up or down. Whole steps, that's 2 pitches. So on the keyboard, 2 keys. On your instruments, 2 notes up or 2 notes down on that chromatic scale. Okay? And then our formula, whole, whole, half. Whole, 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 half. 2 holes and a half, 3 holes and a half. That'll get you every single major scale that you need. If you have any questions, just feel free to shoot Mr. McLeod or myself an email, or you can leave it in a comment below and we'll try to answer it as soon as we can. All right, guys, keep up the studying, keep up the quarantine. We'll hopefully see you soon. Bye-bye.